schedule. I know everybody's already broke it down, and I'm a little bit late, but there are some things in this schedule that I think people are missed. Everybody's very, 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 very irritated that the Raiders do not have a primetime game with the first overall pick, Fernando Mendoza. Is he going to play this year? Is he not? We'll break all that down. But people are irritated there's no primetime game. I think it's a blessing in disguise for the Las Vegas Raiders to not have a primetime game. Actually, when you look at the schedule, right, a lot of these teams have primetime games, short weeks, right? You play on a Monday, you have to play, have to play again. You play on a Thursday, right? Those short weeks, you play on these primetime games like Christmas or, a Thursday. Those weeks get rough, right? Especially when you're traveling, playing away games out of town. But the Raiders don't have to do that. The Raiders just have a regular schedule, no primetime games, no short weeks. And I think that makes a big, big difference on traveling, on being healthy, right? On being able to prepare. When it's a short week, you don't have a lot of time to prepare for, the other team. So I believe that's huge for the Las Vegas Raiders. Greg Brewer in the building. What's good, my brother? So, yeah, man, the schedule is here. We're going to pull it up. We're going to talk about it, break it all down. But first, what do y'all think about the schedule? Are you irritated there's no primetime games? Did you think that, having a first overall pick in Fernando Mendoza, the Raiders at least deserved one game? I mean, they could have threw, a Sunday night game. They could have made the San Francisco game a Sunday night game, right, where the whole world could have been watching the Battle of the Bay, or what used to be the Battle of the Bay. I thought that would have been, a primetime game that the whole world would have want to watch. So at least Raider fans and San Francisco fans. But there were some games they could have thrown in there. Last year, Cam Ward, right, first overall pick. They didn't have any primetime games as well. So it's not just the NFL hating on Raider Nation. But yeah, man, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Did I have this pulled up? Shit, hold on. I need glasses to see. Well, yeah, we start off in Miami. Who's going to the Miami game? Do you have your tickets? Are you prepared? You better get prepared quickly because, there's a lot of places to stay in Vegas. But if you want walking distance where you don't have to Uber, right? You don't have to rent a car. If you're just flying in for the game and flying out, there's a lot of places. So let me pull this up. Image. But yeah, man, it's a rough schedule. It's a daunting task. When we get to October, we play a grueling schedule. But could that schedule kind of be at an advantage for the Las Vegas Raiders? We're going to break that down. We're going to look at it. We're going to talk about it. If you got tickets, what game are you going to? Let me know in the comments. Are you prepared? Do you have tickets? Are you a season ticket holder? If you're a season ticket holder, are you going to every game? If not, let people know. I'm sure there's people in here that would be willing to buy some of those tickets that are Raider fans and not other fans. So if you're a season ticket holder, man, let us know. Drop it in the comments. I thought I had this damn schedule pulled up. I apologize. I don't, and I'm having to find it. Where the hell is it? Do I not have the damn thing downloaded? Son of a bitch. All right, but yeah, man. So, Candy Angel was good. Was good. That's a long ass name. All I see is frogs at the end, so I'm gonna go with Spider and Frogs. Spider and Frogs. What's good? What's good? How are you today? All right, so Miami, you start off with the Dolphins, a home game, a team that has a new quarterback, a new coach. They're probably they're in the same boat as we are, except I feel like the Las Vegas Raiders are a little bit farther ahead of where the Dolphins are going to be right away. They got a new coach, they got new defense, they got a new quarterback who hasn't started a lot of games in the NFL, hasn't really had to lead a team for the whole entire season, right? How is that going to work out? The Dolphins got rid of Tyreek Hill and Waddle, who is now a Denver donkey. So now he'll be a Waddle and donkey instead of a Waddle and duck or whatever he was, penguin. So, yeah, man, I feel like the Dolphins don't have a whole lot of right, which roster is it? Jeez Louise. You got to be more prepared. All right. I feel like this team is way more advanced, right? If you're asking me, save. Sorry, I'm not prepared for this. Chiefs fan, Chiefs all day. Man, your schedule looks easier than ours, Chiefs fan. Just saying. Looks easier than ours. Now, I seen, I haven't watched too much YouTube. Haven't been watching a lot of other folks like I usually do. So I don't know what a lot of predictions are. But from what I seen on Instagram, what I seen on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, right? What I see on these other sites is a lot of people saying, 4 wins, 5 wins, they'll be happy with 6, right? A lot of people are stuck on what ESPN and NFL Network and everybody, says our records will be or should be. But I ain't about all that. I think they're wrong all the time. I mean, just look at how many teams made the playoffs last year that weren't even expected to be in the hunt or anywhere near, right? So, I got this damn image right here. But I think the NFL did us a short favor, and we're gonna break that down. We're gonna talk about it as soon as I get this damn schedule pulled up. But I think they kind of helped us out a little bit. I really do. Not having any primetime games is gonna be. Wait, it should be up here farther. It's going to be an advantage. And we also have another advantage. All right. Finally. All right. So this is the schedule, if you will, right? We have the Dolphins, September 13th. Let me know, win or loss. We'll break it all down. I got this little green things up here. I will move them over for the wins. We're going to break it all down. But we talked about the Dolphins. Then we got the Chargers, right? Chargers coming to town. How's that going to work? The chemistry between a former head coach, Mike McDaniels, right? A former head coach taking a lesser job, being the offensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh. How are those two minds gonna mend together? How are they gonna work as a chemistry? And we're gonna have to wait and see, right? I believe, Mike McDaniels is gonna be a shining star, I believe, for Herbert in the offense. But they also lost their defensive coordinator, who is now a head coach as well himself. So the Chargers, I believe, have some problems, right? They have some issues. Their offensive line was hurt last year. They went and drafted nothing but offensive linemen. It seems like they got some key pieces in Harris, Trey Harris from Ole Miss that didn't get a lot of burn last year, right? So they have some pieces. But I feel like the Chargers are going to take some time to put it together, as we are. But we might be a little bit ahead. We have a quarterback who understands the playbook, right? Who knows what Kubiak's trying to do. So Chargers going to be a tough one. Then you got them New Orleans Saints, New Orleans, right? A lot of people are already booked to go to that game. I believe that's one of the games that I might be at. I'm still, trying to figure out where I'm going to be. A lot of traveling from Arkansas, but definitely want to get to some Raider home games. Would love to be at the opener in Miami, but we'll see how that goes. But the New Orleans Saints, right? That's going to be a fun game. A lot of Raiders fans in the area. Raiders fans are worldwide and nationwide. Saints will be a fun game. Then you have the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Kansas City Chiefs. And again, we're going to break this all down, but I'm just showing you the schedule. Kansas City Chiefs. And then it gets rough. You have the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Bills, the Rams. Maybe a little break, maybe not a little break, right? Who's going to be the quarterback for the Jets? Is it going to be Geno Smith? Will he get beat out by Cade Klubnik? I believe they went and got. I mean, I'm taking Cade Klubnik all day if I'm the Jets. but you got a small break, and then you got San Francisco, then you got Seattle, the defending Super Bowl champions, then the Broncos, who were one game away from the Super Bowl. Then you have one of the best defenses in the NFL, who lost their defensive coordinator in the Cleveland Browns. Then you have the Chargers again, the Broncos again, Tennessee Titans, which is a game more than likely I will be at, working on that as we speak. And then the Cardinals, and then the Chiefs, another game that I will be at the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're trying to get something going. Raider fans, if you want to come, right? We're trying to do something up there. I'm, not too far from Kansas City, but little bit of ways. So I'm trying to get something set up for the Kansas City, and we got plenty of time. It's the last game of the season. So let me know your thoughts, your comments. Do you think the Raiders were screwed by the NFL? Do you think we should have had a primetime game? You would be irritated 0-2 versus the Queefs. Well, we played the Queefs on week 3, so it'd be hard to be 0-2. You know what I'm saying? But at least get it right? At least get it right. I thought I smelled the queef. Yeah, there's 2 in here. There's 2 in here, but 4 wins, 18. What? 4-18. That's not even possible, bro. But 4-18 it is. Mark it down. All right, mark it down. Book it. So 4-18, he says. But anyways, what are your biggest thoughts, your biggest games? I think this schedule right here, man. I think this right here, November and December, is gonna be a tough time, and it's gonna tell a lot about what this team is made of. I'm gonna tell an awful lot about what this team is made of, right? So what we're gonna do is, Raiders fans certainly got the screws on the schedule. All right, I don't believe so, though. I don't believe so, right? There's a hidden advantage in here that nobody's talking about. And again, I haven't watched a lot of, takes or breakdowns on this schedule as I usually do. I usually go through and get most of the content creators. I don't know why my face is sweating so bad and these glasses are getting so damn foggy. So I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen many, but knowing the content creators that I do watch, I'm sure most of them think that, we're winning 4 games, 5 games, be lucky with 6, right? I don't know. But I see a silver lining in all this, and we're going to break it down right now, right? So a lot of people are dismissing the fact that you already have an advantage for your new head coach, who is an offensive genius and a guru, that you already have an advantage. You have a coach in Rob Leonard that knows the AFC West. He's been there. This is his 4th year. What, 5th year? This is 5th year now? 4th year, I think. Anyways, Rob Leonard has been there. He has faced the AFC West numerous times as the defensive line coach. And the defensive line was a big reason why we beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas Day, why we were one snap away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs with Aiden O'Connell 2 years ago, and a reason why, well, not a reason why we beat them last year, because that didn't really count. They were sitting all their starters. But all I'm saying is the Raiders, besides the 0-31 game with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, as of late, we've played the Kansas City Chiefs very, very closely, right? The Broncos, we beat 4 years in a row. Now the tides are starting to turn, 2 offensive coordinators, 3 quarterbacks a season, right? No running game, no offensive line. It's kind of hard to compete in our division. It's a rough division. But Robbie Leonard knows the Broncos. He knows the Chiefs. He knows the Chargers. The Chargers also have a new defensive coordinator. How is that going to work, right? How long is it going to take them to gel? So I think we have an advantage there. And then the biggest advantage that nobody's talking about, and I guarantee you nobody's talking about, is we play the NFC West. Guess who played the NFC West the most last year? Clint Kubiak, our head coach. He played the Cardinals twice. He played Seattle twice. He played the Rams twice and the 49ers. They were 4-2. If you want to look at the playoffs, they were 7-2 versus the NFC West. That is a huge, huge advantage for us. He knows how to beat their defense. He did it in Seattle, right? A lot of those games were close. One of the games, Seattle and the Rams, was, I believe, like 33-34 or 38-36, something. It was like a point. But anyways, we have a head coach that knows that division probably as good as their head coaches, right? When you play a team twice a season in your division, and then you go to another team and you get handed that same schedule, yes, we don't have to play them twice, but we play each one of those teams once. And if we can go 2-2 in that stretch, that's a 2-game advantage. If we could go 3-3 at home, that's 5 wins. And then you're looking at games like the Jets should be a win, Dolphins should be a win, Saints should be a win. I mean, come on, that's, 7-8 wins. Tennessee Titans, Cardinals. I mean, if you're looking at that, that's already 10 wins, right? 10 wins. So I think you have a huge advantage when you get to the Rams game, right? I'm not even bringing up the Patriots. We're just talking about the NFC West right now, right? So you get to the Rams game, a team that he didn't play twice. He played 3 times. Clint Kubiak played the Rams 3 times last year. Now, they lost their offensive coordinator, but they still have the same defensive coordinator. They didn't, go out and go crazy in the NFL draft. They didn't go crazy in NFL free agency. I don't know what the hell is tickling my nose, right? They didn't go crazy in NFL free agency. So you have a Rams team that Clint Kubiak knows like the back of his hand. He studied for them twice, prepared for them, cooked up a game plan, right? Twice. And then he had to face them in the playoffs. In the NFC Championship game, had to face them 3 times. Guess who came out on top? Clint Kubiak and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know their defense was a huge, huge part of that, but don't sleep on this Las Vegas Raiders defense. We have nothing but speed all around. And if they can just put it together early, man, I feel like we have a chance to surprise a lot of people with the schedule, right? Then you move on to the next game. You got the Jets, right? So, Jets going to be okay. And yes, I skipped the Patriots and the Bills, but I'll get back to it. So you have the Jets game. Then however that goes, in New York, and then you gotta, fly to San Francisco, which is the Bay Area, right? That's our stomping grounds, right? That's our home. We've had many, many rivals with Oakland and San Francisco. But the San Francisco 49ers, a team that Clint Kubiak, ran all over. I think one of those games was 10-7, a close game. Anyways, he knows the Rams, he knows the 49ers, and I believe that gives us a huge advantage on the 49ers, who, that team last year had a lot of injuries and they still end up making to the playoffs. So that's going to be a tough game. But you also have Clint Kubiak, who's a former offensive coordinator for, you guessed it, the San Francisco 49ers. You don't think he knows how that head coach works? You don't think he knows what his philosophy is, what his game plan is, how he game plans for certain teams? You don't think that he knows that like the back of his hand, right? So I think we have a huge advantage over the 49ers. Not only did he play them twice last year with Seattle, but he also coached with the San Francisco 49ers. That's 3 huge advantages that the Raiders have going into this game versus the 49ers, right? Not to mention the crowd is going to be crazy. I was going to go to that game, but when I looked at tickets, I was like, bro, I am not showing up to San Francisco, unless I got a bunch of people that are rolling with me in Raiders gear. Because, I did that before. It's probably not going to happen again. I was a lot younger then, a lot more cockier then, a lot stupider then. I'm not trying to do that. So, and the prices, bro, the prices of the 49er game was absolutely ridiculous. And they're just climbing and climbing and climbing, which is crazy. And that was one of the biggest games I was looking forward to. I wanted to go back to the base so bad. Well, we'll see, man. Week 9, we'll see if there's any. I guess we'll figure out if there's any way that I could go. I might go still, but damn, if you're going to San Francisco in your rated gear without a crew, bro, you got grapefruits. That's all I'm saying. Grapefruits. So we have an advantage over the Rams. We have an advantage, right? A huge advantage over the Rams. They played them 3 times. Kubiak knows that offense. He knows how McVay works on offense. He knows how Chris Shula works on defense, right? He knows how to attack it. He knows how to beat it. That's why they made it to the NFL Super Bowl. And that's why they won the championship. So you got that. You got the 49ers. And then we get to the Seattle Seahawks. Who knows the Seattle Seahawks and Mike McDonald and what he's trying to do and what his philosophy is and how he schemes up for opponents, right? What's he trying to do? Is he trying to get, the push to the outside? What's he trying to do on defense, right? Does he blitz a lot? What's he trying to do in coverage, right? Are you disguising coverage? How do you disguise coverage? That is a huge, huge advantage for Clint Kubiak because he was in the film room, in the game room, studying, building his offense with the head coach for every single game. So he knows his mindset. He knows how he thinks. He knows what he tries to do, to expose teams' weaknesses. So I think that's a huge advantage. Now, the Seattle Seahawks, they lost a couple players, right? They lost some defensive players. They also went out and lost their running back, who is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs are going to be nasty with that running game. But Seattle lost some players they're going to have to replace. And they also lost the damn engine of their team, right? Now, you could say the engine was the defense because they won a lot of games because of their defense, right? They got a lot of turnovers. They gave their offense lots of extra possessions, and Clint Kubiak knows how to take advantage of that. So losing your offensive coordinator, they went and got an offensive coordinator that's a former 49er coach, right? So they're bringing in that same Kubiak West Coast system. So he's got an advantage with that too. He knows what this offensive coordinator coming in from the 49ers, he knows that group, right? He knows what they're trying to think, what they think, and what their philosophy is, and how they go about destructing and dismantling teams, to get victories. So I think that's another huge, huge, huge advantage for the Las Vegas Raiders. And then you got the Broncos, right? Again, a team that we owned for a long, long time, right? We made them our bitch for a while. They were, excuse my language, they were 8 games in a row. That's 4 years that we were riding donkeys. And now all of a sudden the tables have turned, the tides have turned. The last 2 years they beat us. So now they've won 4 in a row. But I believe the buck stops right here at this game. I don't think they're going to beat us like, they have. And if you go back and look at last year, one of those games, wasn't it 13-10? Weren't we up 10-7 almost the whole game with Geno Smith, with with Chip Kelly calling plays? I mean, come on, bro. We were this close. We had the Broncos right where we wanted them the whole entire game. And one turnover, I believe, cost us that whole game. So we know the Broncos. We know how to play the Broncos, right? We have a defensive coordinator who's been in the building. He was in the building a lot of the times when we beat those Broncos, right? When we went on that run. So not only do you have Kubiak, but who also, has history with the Broncos. That probably doesn't matter. That was a long time ago. But I'm saying you got Robbie Leonard that knows the Broncos, right? And then you got the Browns. Then we got a bye week, right? You got a bye week. Is this the time that you see Fernando Mendoza? Is this the time the first overall pick comes in looking at 3 division opponents, right? With us being, I don't know. Where are we going to be? Somebody let me know in the comments. Where do you think we're going to sit at the bye week, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have to count. 12 games. 12 games. Are we I don't know. Where are we at? 6-6? Are we 7-5? Are we 8-4? That's probably a little bit extreme, but you know, where are we at the bye week? And is it time for Mendoza? Or does Mendoza come in somewhere in week 8 at the Jets game, right? Because if you're looking at the schedule and you're thinking, all right, if Mendoza doesn't start week 1, where's the opportunity to get him in the game? Right? Where do we put what game? Do you put him in the Jets game after the Rams game? And then you let him prepare for the 49ers, who, like I said, Clint Kubiak knows very, very well, knows how they think, knows how they operate, knows exactly what it takes to, you know, make the engine run over there. I believe that's a huge advantage. So you can put them in then, and then thinking, you know, well, I know the 49ers, I know Seattle like the back of my hand. This would be a great time to put in our rookie, give him some tough games against playoff teams, you know, and see what we got with our rookie, see where he stands. And then you give him what? 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, 10 games or 9 games. I think that's somewhere where Aiden O'Connell started, right? Then Aiden O'Connell played, 10 games his rookie year. He threw 9 touchdowns to 1 interception the last 6 games. Woo! Bro, you put him in at the same time, you better hope to God that that he does better than that. Aiden O'Connell went 5-4, I do believe, as a rookie in 9 games. So you got that's are they going to do that? Are they going to let him let him play 9 games, give him 10 games, or do they wait and just give him 5, depending on where the Raiders are at, where their schedule's at, and what it looks like, right? That is the major question. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Shout out to everybody in the building. I see y'all 5-7 by the bye. Whew. That's rough by the bye. So the first game, man. First game, we got the Miami Dolphins. Danny Cap's in the building. What's up? We're ranked 3rd in the NFL with facing teams coming off the bye. Okay. That's nice. All right, so we got the Miami Dolphins, week 1. I'm going to say that's a win, right? That's a win. I feel like we're just a little bit more advanced when it comes to the roster. They don't have, a Colton Miller. They don't have a Max Crosby. Hell, we don't even know if they got a Kirk Cousins over there, right? They do have, an Ashton Genty or a Mike Washington, whatever you want to call it. But I believe that's a team that, they're going to struggle off the jump. I believe they have a lot of issues over there. Lawrence, my guy, appreciate you pulling up. So we got the Miami Dolphins week 1. I say that's a dub, right? I say that's a dub. Then you got the Chargers coming in. Week 2. Can we catch the Chargers slipping? Trying to get everything together, right? Trying to get all the kinks worked out. Trying to get everything figured out. I believe yes. I'm going to say yes. I say we beat the Chargers early, whether it's, Aiden O'Connell, whether it's Mendoza, whether it's Kirk Cousins. I don't think it matters, right? I don't think it matters. I think our running game is going to be big in this, right? They have a defense that has a lot of players that are up there in age. They brought back Khalil Mack. They have a lot of declining stars on that defensive squad. They let go of one of their best edge rushers. They went and got, I believe, Akeem Mesidor, right? Are they the ones that got Akeem? Shit, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not trying to pull up everybody's roster and schedule. That would take all day to break this down, but I could if you want to. So the Chargers, man, I think that's a dub. I think we start out, get some motivation, right, at home, and then for the first time in a long time, the Raiders win a game in LA, right? We catch the Chargers. in there, trying to put everything together. I think their offense is going to be tough, but I believe this defense is going to surprise some people with the speed we got. We got N'Kobe Dean and Quay Walker. We got nothing but speed on the back end. Everybody in the back end from our linebackers on are in the 4.4s or less, I do believe. That's crazy speed on the back end, right? People are going to sleep on that. You have guys that can tackle, guys that can cover, guys with good ball instincts in the backfield. I believe that's an advantage for us. So I say a dub for the Chargers. Then we have the New Orleans Saints, right? We go to the Chargers. Then we got to, come home for a day or two, hop on a plane. You go to New Orleans early in the season. Tyler Shuck played very, very well. I think they have two of the best receivers now in the NFL, in Olave and Jordan Tyson, right? They went and got Jordan Tyson, I do believe. So that's freaky with Tyler Shuck. They have two solid running backs. Their defense was pretty damn good last year. I believe the Saints catch us slipping, right? Kirk Cousins, 38 years old, coming after a Chargers game where he's going to get probably, hit more than he wants to, I believe, in that game. So I say, I don't know, man. The Saints is going to be close. Anybody want to comment? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm gonna say a dub. I think our running game is just way more than they can handle in New Orleans, right? The defense is okay, but I think Ashton Jeanty and our speed, right, coming off this season, you got Clint Kubiak, who's going to be ahead of schedule. He knows most of the offense. Got to learn, a couple more plays in the verbiage, but most of what Kubiak is trying to do, right? Kirk Cousins already knows. So if you come out with Kirk Cousins, I believe we start out 3-1. Then we go to Kansas City, right? I believe Kansas City is a loss. I don't know when, Patrick Mahomes is going to play. But I will say one thing. If this defense is getting pressure on the quarterback and they make Mahomes move around, I really feel like we could beat Kansas City in this game. But that early in the schedule, coming off two back-to-back road games, it's a home game. I would love to see us, beat Kansas City at home. But didn't we beat them at home last year? Wasn't that in Allegiant Stadium, or was it there? I don't know. I can't remember. So I don't know, man. I'm iffy on the Kansas City game. I think they get one on us, right? We come out 3-0, beat the Miami Dolphins, beat the Chargers, beat the Saints, and then, right, maybe have a little bit of swagger to us, a little bit of confidence, and, get smacked by the Kansas City Chiefs. Then we go to New England again. I don't know why the schedule put us on New England, right? Again, twice. I'll read the comments here in a minute. So the New England game, I'm not going to talk about it long, but this game is one of those games where, we beat them last year, the first game of the season, and I think we caught them slipping. Like I believe we're going to catch the Dolphins and the Chargers slipping this year. Frank's got us at 1-3. All right, I like it. Here, let's do this. So which games you got us winning? Let me do this. I'm making two boards. So show y'all what I'm doing. I got the schedule up. I'm making two boards. If y'all want to comment, right? I got exactly what you see on your screen with the little green things, and I'm sliding the little green things over for the win and loss column. So if you want to participate in the chat, I need the most participants, right? So Miami, do y'all have it a win or a loss? And then we'll take the most votes and we'll go by then. So I'll do yours and then I'll do mine as well, if that's what y'all want to do. So let me know. If not, then I'll just do my own and y'all could do yours on yourself. But you got us at 2-3. All right, which games are we winning, Frank Weber? Somebody says loss. All right, we'll start with Miami. Win or loss? I know it's a 15-second delay, so I'm gonna have to sit here and wait. This might take a little bit longer. So we got one loss for Miami. Or were you talking about the Kansas City game? Yeah, this could take longer than I thought. Think we're winning Miami. So we got one for Miami. All right, yeah, that's gonna take forever. So I'm gonna do it like this. It's a 45-second delay, actually. Yeah, it's a minute. All right, so we're gonna skip that. I'm just gonna go and we'll do yours separately. We'll do a live chat one tomorrow, the same way we do this. But this is gonna be mine because otherwise it'll take forever. And with the delay, it's gonna drive me nuts. 45 seconds of silence, it would kill me. So we are at game 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe the Kansas City Chiefs pull one out in that game. Then we have to go October 11th. You know, might be cold, might not be cold. Shouldn't be too cold up there in the Boston area, right? In New England. I don't know. Is Mike Vrabel the coach when we play them? Right? Does Mike Vrabel still have a job? Does the situation with Diana Rusi and Mike Vrabel bleed into the locker room? Does it have right? Does it make a problem with their head coach coaching? Or there's people like, man, you a dirty a dog, right? Or how's that situation going to work? So I don't know. The Patriots. I'm going to say everything is good in the Patriots building, right? And we smacked them around the beginning of the year last year. I say the Patriots win that game. Then we go to Buffalo. Our Buffalo comes to us, right? Buffalo comes to us. That's going to be a tough game. Their defense, I believe we can score points on, but it's hard to say, right, until we know who the quarterback's going to be. And I don't want to sit here and go, okay, if Aiden O'Connor's the quarterback, we lose. If Kirk Cousins is the quarterback, it's iffy. If Mendoza's the quarterback, we win type shit, right? So I'm just going to say Kirk Cousins the quarterback, and then we'll flop it and adjust it from there. So Kirk Cousins the quarterback. I say we lose to Kansas City, lose to the Patriots. Josh McDaniel gets his revenge. And you know what? I'm gonna say we lose. I'm gonna say we lose as well to the Buffalo Bills, right? At home. So that means we won one game at home so far. Ouch, that's rough. And then the Rams, right? The Rams come to town, the Devontae Adams game. I think there's a lot of people in the building that kind of know Devontae Adams, how he works, right? I don't know if there's anybody in the building that we have that can cover him, but hopefully we do, right? Hopefully we do. And again, our head coach played the Rams 3 times last year. 3 times last year. It was 2-1. I think that's a huge, huge advantage. But I don't know if we win. I'm gonna say a win for the Rams. I'm gonna say a win for the Rams. I'm gonna say we go 2-0 in LA, right? In LA. Oh wait, that's a Rams game. Is home game. Oh, that sucks. We should have played all 3 games at home. Anyways, all right. So the Rams. Then we got the Jets. I think the Jets is a win. Geno Smith not getting no revenge, bro. I'd say he throws 3 interceptions in that game if he even plays in that game, right? I give us a win in that scenario. Then the San Francisco 49ers in the Bay. D-Money was good. I would love to see them walk out of there with a win, right? Brock Purdy, I think, our defense can cover that. I don't know. This game is tough, man. This game is tough. This game is tough. You got 6 wins. 1 win, 2 win, 3 win, 4 is a loss, 5 is a win, 6 is a win, 7 is a loss, 8 is a win, and 9 is a loss. Okay, I like that. Let me know if y'all do the same thing Faded Raider did. just put the weeks with a win and or a loss, and then we'll try to figure out who had the most and where all that was. That's the only way I could do it. You know what? I'm gonna swap this. I think we get caught slipping. Our division is tough as a mofo. Our division is tough, but like I said, we also have, you know, didn't our division play Seattle last year, right? Did everybody in our division play Seattle last year? Or just us in the preseason? I thought for some reason I thought the Broncos and Kansas City. I'm gonna have to look it up in a minute, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look that up. All right, so the 49ers. I'm gonna say the 49ers is a win. I'm gonna call the Rams game a loss. Seattle Seahawks. I think that one's is a close game, but I don't see us winning that game. Then we have the Denver Broncos. I see that as a close game as well, but I'm gonna put that as an L. You know, at Denver, November 22nd. Could be snow on the ground, could be a cold game. We do play in a dome, right? In the desert. So I don't think that helps us a lot. Um, and then, man, then we have the Cleveland Browns, right? The Cleveland Browns, a team that beat us last year with Shador. And I I still can't believe they won that game. I mean, as bad as people thought we were, right? We go and we compete and we hang. Alec M says 7 is our floor, possible 10 or 11. Shout out for the $10 holla. Let's go playoffs this year. Appreciate you, Faded Raider. But we play the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that game is a game I thought we could have and should have won. It was neck and neck, right there. But somehow we found a way to lose, right? The Chicago Bears, who made the playoffs, neck and neck, found a way to lose, right? Should have won that game. They beat us by a last second field goal. The Houston Texans, a playoff game, neck and neck. Ashton Genty, what didn't he have 3 touchdowns in that game or 2? Anyways, Ashton Genty, a breakout game in Houston. We played them very, very well. Could have won that game as well. Those are 3 playoff teams that we played very, very solid. The Denver Broncos, we lost 10-7 or 13-10 or whatever it was. I have to look that up as well, right? So Pete and Gino, we're terrible, as Alex said, and our defense still kept us in games last year. Our defense is 100% better than it was last year. 100%, 100% better, right? If this defense was top 20 last year, 100%, bro, they could be, top 5 this year very, very easily. I believe they got that much better. The only question I have is, who's going to be that plug at the defensive line? But I don't really think that's a big problem if you're only running, 3-4, 20 or 30% of the time. I don't see that being a problem, right? So the Browns game, I think we should have definitely won that game last year. And I say we win it this year, right? At the Browns. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. If it's Deshaun Watson, bro, that's rough because if you look at 2 years ago with AP, right, the Browns should have won that game. They should have won that game. They had 2 wide open touchdowns that were completely dropped by a guy that used to play for the Raiders, was drafted by the Raiders. Y'all all know who he is. I don't want to say his name, but came back to the Raiders, then retired a week later, right? So the Browns should have won that game 2 years ago easily, but they got their revenge because we should have won the game last year, and they won that game. I see us winning this year. Then you got the Chargers. That's a loss, right? We beat them in week 2. They finally come together. You know, they're getting everything. I think they're in a playoff race. I think this is a detrimental game for them and for us. And I believe this is Fernando Mendoza's first game with the Chargers, and I'm gonna call it a loss, right? I think the rookie comes in, struggles a little bit. I believe it's a good game. I think it's close, but I feel like the Chargers pull that one off, right? And then we have the Broncos coming to town, and I believe the Broncos get beat in Allegiant Stadium like they did, for 4 years in a row. I have us winning this game. Then we have the Tennessee Titans. I have us winning that game. Then we have the Cardinals. Man, that's going to be rough. If y'all follow this channel for a while and y'all know who my number one coach was, it wasn't Clint Kubiak. It was not. It was the guy that sat behind Sean McVay. It was Mike LaFleur. That was my number one coach, right? We'll see what he does with the Cardinals over there. We'll see what Kubiak does with our Raiders over here. But Kubiak was my number 2. I thought, Davis Webb was never on my list. Not a guy that I wanted. So I felt like it was 2 guys, Mike LaFleur, Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak, after their last win or whenever, right, they got the first interview. They were supposed to have one with Mike LaFleur. They canceled that, hired Clint Kubiak. He was the guy. So that's going to be a tough game, man. That's going to be a tough game. I believe the Cardinals are one of the teams like the Raiders that are going to be those teams that sneak up and, are pushing for a playoff spot. And call me crazy. The Cardinals, yes, they have to play the Rams twice, the Seattle Seahawks twice, and the 49ers twice. But I don't believe the Seahawks are going to be what they were. The Rams, we'll see, right? They did lose their offensive coordinator. Yes, Sean McVay, is the guy that calls plays, but their offensive coordinator was Mike LaFleur, and it has been for the last 3 years. So is that going to be a hiccup for the Rams? Is this offensive coordinator going to come in and, take over where Mike LaFleur left off? Yes, they still have, or they lost him too, right? I believe their passing game coordinator, I believe they lost him as well. So, all right. And then we have the last game of the season. I believe we beat the Cardinals. And then the last game of the season, man, comes down to the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Where are we in Kansas City? I have us beating. I don't know. I don't like the way the schedule looks. I think I'm going to change my mind on a couple of these. But where do y'all have it? LaFleur as head coach, I think, not the hot seat now. What? You think he's on the hot seat now? I mean, he just got hired. He just got hired. All right, Dub and KC, Booger Minshew, backup Cardinals now. Yeah, that's gonna be funny. Spytek and Kubiak brought in competition all over the place, free agency, and I'm loving it. Facts, man, facts. They did. They brought in lots of competition, and I feel this team is gonna sneak up on some people, man. It's gonna sneak up on some people. So let's get this off the screen. Right, we talked about all the games. Actually, we'll just leave it on there. Let me know. Who are y'all's picks, right? I know y'all waiting for mine. So, hey, the algorithm brought me here, and I'm glad. Good commentary. I think the schedule in Kansas City, absolutely brutal. Good luck this year, Kansas City. Kansas City wins that one 24-13. Appreciate the comment, my brother. Appreciate the algorithm bringing you here. Definitely. Thank you for the nice words, and like, subscribe, and come back. Appreciate it. 24-13, the last game of the season. At KC. Yeah, that's going to be a cold game in January. I live in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, so I'm right there, and I know they're way colder than us, and it is nasty in January. So it's gonna be a rough stretch. It's gonna be a rough stretch. All right, so let's go over my schedule. So I got the Miami Dolphins, week 1. I got that as a dub. I want to do that. Yeah, week 1, Miami as a dub. The Chargers come into town, and I think we catch them, right? Trying to put everything together. They've been beating on us for a while, the last couple years. And the main reason is I'm picking us to win this game is because Clint Kubiak, John Spytek, everybody has said the same thing, right? You have to win your division. If we want to compete, if we want to be a playoff team, if we want to be a team that gets primetime games, you have to win your division. And I think that starts week 2 with the Chargers, right? I know, man, just throwing numbers out there. Yeah, it's brutal here for sure. Absolutely. Hopefully Kansas City sucks like they did last year. You know, I called that all year, right? All year last year, I said over and over again that I felt like, right, all good things come to an end, and they have to come to an end eventually. And I just felt like it was the time for Kansas City, their star tight end, Travis Kelce, got Cooter on the brain, thinking about marriage and babies, right? I think his playing time is done. I'm very surprised he came back this year, right? And then, you lost Snead, one of your best corners. You didn't really have any edge rushers. You didn't really have a run game. And I just felt like the Kansas City's time was coming to an end. Now, they went out in this draft and they moved up and they got the best corner, maybe the second best corner, depending on if the best corner is healthy. And McCoy, I believe he was the best corner in this draft. So, absolutely brutal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And, is Mahomes going to have to play a different kind of football, right? Is he going to be a guy that has to stand in the pocket and try to beat you with his arm and his intelligence instead of, a guy like in the past can just roll out of the pocket, can move around back there for 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds and just buy time and let his receivers work and find the open man, right? I think some of that game for Mahomes, might be a little bit on lock depending on the knee injury. But I know from a dude that has a knee injury and tore my ACL, right? It's always in the back of your mind. Anytime you do anything, even still to this day, when I'm trying to do stuff, I know I gotta, make sure I don't plant wrong or put weight on it wrong because it never really healed, right? So it's going to be a big question for the Kansas City Chiefs. ACL, he's coming back, it seems like way too fast, I believe, for Patrick Mahomes. So I think that's going to be a problem, man. I think it's going to be a big problem. Big problem. All right, so I got us beating the Chargers 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so I got us beating the Chargers. I got us losing at the Saints, right? I got us losing back to back. So we go 2-2. We lose 2. We lose to the Saints and the Chiefs, right? We're 2-2. Then we go to the Patriots. And I got us losing that game. We won last year. I got us losing that. Then the Buffalo Bills come to town. And surprisingly, I'm gonna give this a dub. I'm gonna give this a dub, right? Their defense struggles. I don't think they have anybody on their defense that can cover Brock Bowers. Jack Best is going to be a problem for them. Having two running backs with a fullback, running 12 personnel, I think it's just going to be a problem for the Buffalo Bills, right? If you're physical with the Bills, it just seems like teams that could be physical with them, offensive wise and defensive wise, they struggle. If you look at, Josh Allen, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, some say, right? But he's still a turnover machine, man. He had crazy amount of turnovers last year. I think in one game he had what, two interceptions and two or three fumbles, right? It's five turnovers for a gold jacket type quarterback. You just never know what you're going to get with Josh Allen, right? He's got same thing, cooter on the brain. He's got, a little singer over there that he's deeply infatuated with. And, sometimes life changes, right? So you never know what you're going to get with Josh Allen, but to coming into Las Vegas, right, in that environment, and if we're 2-3, it might not be that great of environment, right? Might not be that great. But if we're 2-2 or 3-2, then I believe Raider Nation shows up and shows out for that game. And I think Kubiak's offense against the Bills defense is a win. And I feel like with the speed we have on defense and the linebackers we have and Max Crosby on the end, tormenting Josh Allen, right? Making him move off his spot, making him move around, buy time. I got us a win. I got us a win there. Then we have the Rams versus the Rams coming to town. I talked about how the division could be, huge for us. It could be bad for us, right? But I really feel like it's a close game to the Rams. They probably win by a field goal. That offense is going to be hard to contain over there. They just got better. Their defense should be better, right? I give us a L. So we are 3-4. Ouch, 3-4. And maybe it's time for Mendoza, right? You're 3-4. I mean, it's a Jets game. Do you throw Mendoza in, throw him into the fire, or do you wait? If it was me, I would throw Mendoza in right now. I would throw him in. If you're 3-4, or if you're 3-4 going into week 8 against the Jets, that would be my spot to play Mendoza. That would be my spot. So I'm gonna call it that. I say when Mendoza comes in week 8 for the Jets, and I get us a dub. I think he comes in for San Francisco. And we get a dub. The Seattle game, I think, is close. Very, very close. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Somebody help me out. Mahomes getting blackout drunk at parades, not a good look. Hey, I heard he was out there also golfing. So you got Mahomes on the golf course with an ACL that's trying to heal. Not really a good look. We also know how his gut gets in the offseason. Dude packs on, 30 pounds, 25, 30 pounds, and then loses it throughout the season. So coming off that ACL, those pounds might not be as easy to lose, right? Might not be as easy to lose. All right, so I got Mendoza coming in week 8 for the Jets. I say we win that game. We beat the 49ers. We lose to Seattle. We lose to the Donkeys. We beat the Browns, right? We beat the Browns. We get a little momentum. I believe that could be a, Mendoza, Taylor Green type game. I'm going to call it now. I think Taylor Green starts for the Cleveland Browns sometime in this season. I just think he's way more athletic, doesn't take, unnecessary sacks like Shador. And, if he can learn from Shador and learn from the guys in the building, Sullivan was good, my guy. I think that could be close, right? So I got us winning the Browns, and then we go into the bye week. We go into the bye week. Mendoza gets 2 weeks to prepare. 401 Jeff, what's good, my brother? I think Mendoza gets, a week to prepare in the bye week. We go into San Diego. San Diego comes to us. I feel that's another close game. I feel we lose by, possibly less than a touchdown, a field goal, something like that. Broncos come to town. Man, that's going to be rough. We lost once. I feel like we split our division, right? I feel like we split our division this year. I'm going to give that a win for the Broncos. I mean, for us, not the Broncos. We beat the Broncos. Then Tennessee, man. Tennessee is really, really close. I think that team's going to be better. They have a good quarterback. They have two good coaches, a great offensive mind as the offensive coordinator. They have Brian DeBall as the defensive coordinator. That defense is going to be solid. They bulked up in the draft. That's going to be rough, but I give us a win. God and family, what's good, my guy? What's good? Appreciate you pulling up. And then we go to the Cardinals. That's going to be a rough game. My guy Mike LaFleur, coach over there. I believe their rookie quarterback and Carson Beck is playing by then. But I believe Mendoza does the same thing to Carson Beck as they did in the national championship, and he puts them down, and that's a win. And then the Kansas City game, we go to Kansas City, and we show everybody on the planet that the Raiders are for real, right? We start our rookie quarterback in week 8, and we beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is our schedule. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I gotta say 10 wins, bro. I gotta say 10 wins. That's a lot less than the 13-4 and the 12-5 I had the last couple years. But that's where I got it. So let me put this up here. First I gotta save it. Oh shit, I saved it to the wrong. Oh no, that's good. All right, man. So this is the schedule. Let's just do it like that. So Jeremiah Love is a dangerous player as well. I believe he is, but I think we have something for Jeremiah Love, right? We have solid defense on the back end, right? Very, very solid defense on the back end. And let me get rid of this. I need to replace it with the hell, is somebody here? That's not it. Quiet, man. Nobody's here. Dang it, Tucker Hemingway. It's enough of that. All right, where's the damn schedule I just downloaded? Why is this dog barking? All right, hold up. This is not working. Was that UPS? I don't know what the hell's going on. All right, let me get rid of this. All right, we're back. We're back. All right, man. Oh goodness. Nobody's here, Chica. They dipped already. They left. Fucking dog is crazy, bro. I swear. Um, all right, I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna try this again. Save this dang schedule. Download. The, the dog is happy with Candy switching teams. She's switching teams. What? Candy don't like no Kyler Murray. Stop playing, bro. He's about as tall as she is. I didn't mean that, but it's really though, for real though. All right, let me try this one more time and see if this dang thing saved, so I can show you where we're at. But before we do that, let's get into these comments. My guy Jeff in the building. 4-13 market. I'm gonna mark that. I'm gonna mark that. Don't worry, that's in the receipt book. 4-13. Jeff says market. We pulling out the receipts today. Anybody else want to be wrote down in the receipt book of silver and black? Because I think that's a landish take for somebody that bleeds silver and black, believes in Spy Tech, believes in the coaching staff, but but we're only winning 4 games. That's impossible. That's almost impossible, bro. But I like it. I like it. So Jeff says, book it. It's booked. 4-13. Ouch. Wrote down. 4-13. Jeff, you're on the list. Anybody else want to get on the list? Anybody else? We will put you down. Let's do this. Let's do a giveaway. Whoever gets closest to the schedule, will win a prize. It could be a hat, it could be a shirt, it could be a jersey. You don't know. But starting right now, if y'all want to be entered, I will put your names down. Give me your schedule predictions, the closest one to the schedule. And then we'll have to do a tiebreaker, right? We'll have to do a tiebreaker like when Mendoza starts, or how many yards he gets, or something different, right? We'll have to definitely do some kind of tiebreaker, because I'm sure, in 17 games, there's gonna be a lot of people that have the schedule the same. But let's break it down. I would love to do that. Are you still barking? Man? First Miami, the Jets, Titans, Cards. That's it. So you don't think that Clint Kubiak, who played the Rams 3 times last year, not just twice, he played them twice in their division. You don't think Clint Kubiak has a heads up on the Rams, who has a new offensive coordinator? You don't think he has a heads up on the Seattle team that he was a part of? He knows how Mike McDonald thinks. He knows how he schemes for games, right? He knows his game plan. He knows how his defense works, right? He knows all about that because he practiced against them for a whole entire season. You don't think that gives us a leg up on Seattle? You don't think it gives up a leg up on the Cardinals that he played twice, right? The Rams, not only did he play twice, but he played them 3 times, twice in the season, right? He played the whole NFC West. We played the NFC West this year. All 4 of those teams, he played them twice. 2 of the teams he played 3 times. I think that's a huge advantage for Kubiak and the Raiders. But, if you think we're only winning those games, Miami, the Jets, the Titans, and the Cards, that's crazy. So basically we can only beat teams that are under 500 with one of the best run games in the NFL. Watch. With Ashton Genty and Mike Washington, with Brock Bowers, the best tight end in all of football, and you really feel like 4 wins is where we're at. That's cool. Jeremiah Love is a dangerous player. I believe that. If that, you say? That's crazy. Bro, why are you calling me? Downstairs. I know. Bye. I think the Titans will be better than some people think. I know the Titans are going to be a lot better than people think, right? They have a good head coach, but look what Robert Salah did when he went to the Jets. He had Mike LaFleur as an offensive coordinator, right? Offensive coordinator guru, right? And the Jets were nothing. Now he's going to the Tennessee Titans with a first overall pick. They also had a first overall pick in Zach Wilson, or a first round pick in Zach Wilson, but they didn't do anything. So has he adapted? Has he grown? Was going back to Seattle help him be a better coach, right? A lot of questions with the Titans. I think they're a better team. They have, they have some weapons, but I don't think they're quite there yet. So I don't know how many wins they have. We'll see. We need a lot of our games to come down to the fourth quarter and have calls go our way and some last second field goals to win. But 10-7, not impossible, Rebel. I feel that 100%, right? Some of these games are going to come down to the wire. Some of these games are going to come down to, like you said, can we get in field goal range, right? Are we tied with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter and the ball bounces our way, right? They come, say we're up and they come down and score, tie the game, and then we have a chance with a coach that can get yardage, that can get us down there, that can put us in field position to kick field goals, right? Who's that kicker going to be? We don't know. Is he going to be consistent? We don't know. But we do know that Clint Kubiak is an absolute dog on offense. Everywhere he's went, his offense has been good, right? And now you have him, but you also have Andrew Janoko, who he said he couldn't, he don't know where he'd be without Andrew Janoko. So that's another big part of the puzzle. And then you bring in Rick Dennison, who's been there with him everywhere he's went for the last 3 stops, right? I do believe. So you have that connection. When you have not just one guy that comes over from a team, but you bring in 3 guys, one on offense, or both on offense, one on offensive line, and one a quarterback guru, that says a lot, bro. This team on paper is a lot better than people think. I love the fact that ESPN has us, winning 5 games again. And I said last year we should have won more games, right? I had us at 12-5. But I believe, like, if we had a quarterback that was already in the building playing and a different head coach, right, that didn't have favoritism, if we would have kept AP in the building, come on, man. I thought we could have made a run last year. But, things happen, everything went awry. And if you watched my videos, when I did my prediction, I said, this is what I feel like they could be like if Geno, the if quarterback, and everything goes right and goes our way and the ball bounces our way, we can be 12-5. If not, and Geno plays like Geno and Pete Carroll doesn't take him out, as soon as he starts doing bad, then the season is a wash. And I'd be surprised if we won 3 games. We ended up winning 3 games. So I knew last year it was going to go one way or another. This year, I don't feel like that. I feel like our floor is 7 games. Maybe 6. I think our floor is 6 games, right? We're going to win at least 1 or 2 division games when you have a head coach that comes in and knows that it's all about winning your division. You're nothing until you put a mark on your division and win your division, which is going to be hard to win our division. But to win our division, or to start to get to the point where we can win our division, we have to be that team that can at least win some games in a division, right? You have to beat the Broncos at least once, the Chargers at least once, and the Kansas City Chiefs at least once. If not, those games have to be, less than a field goal and show them that, we're here, we're back, and we ain't going nowhere. And I believe the Raiders can do that. You're funny talking about me when I'm not here, LOL. How I was, what? Love how famous I am. Who's talking about you? What? I don't know what she's barking at. Just as such negative waves. It is what it is. The Raiders have lost for a long, long time. And I've watched this team for 51 years of my life. I'm 51. I've watched it since I can remember, right? Take the blinders off and look at who we play this year. The deck is stacked against us, man. We have a brutal and mid-season stretch. Okay, I'm taking my blinders off. I already took them off. That's why I waited 2 days before I did my schedule breakdown, so I could look at all the teams we played, where they were at, right? When do we get to play them? If you look at the Rams game, I believe they play Seattle like a week or two before that. The Raiders get tape on that. If you look at when we play Seattle, right, we play the Rams play I think 2 or 3 games before that. So we get tape on that. If you look at when we play Kansas City, right? We have the Chargers who play them the first week of the season, Monday night. You get tape on that, right? So taking my blinders off, the big thing everybody said last year is we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. Now we got 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks, and everybody thinks we're going to win less games than last year when most people had us predicted 6 or 7 games with a horrible, horrible offensive mind in Chip Kelly in the NFL and Pete Carroll, who, is 70 years old. Now we have a young, innovative, offensive-minded head coach, and we're a worse team than last year. We went and got the best center in all of football and paid him the most money out of any center in the history of the NFL. I do believe the highest paid center in the history of the NFL is now on our team running our offense, and we're going to be worse. Colton Miller, JPJ should be healthy. Caleb Rogers ready to take that next step up. We got Burford. We got Meredith, right? You have DJ Glaze on the other side. I just don't see how this team got worse than last year, and we'll be lucky to win 3 games, right? All those teams that we mentioned, yes, we play 11 playoff teams. 11 games that we play this year were all in the playoffs last year. But guess what? Teams that are usually in the playoffs, year in and year out, they start to fall off. They have injuries. Look at Bo Nix's ankle. Look at his leg, bro. His leg does this. We have a brand new quarterback that hasn't ever played in the NFL, no injury, no problems. We have a running back that almost had 1,000 yards against the worst running back, the worst offensive line in the history of the NFL. Obviously, they were 32nd, bottom of every category. And then instead of bringing in all these new coaches, you keep one in the building that knows the division better than all the coaches we brought in, right? That knows the players on defense that we kept better than anybody in the building. I think those are all very, very good reasons to think this team can be competitive. You also have Aiden O'Connell, who's going to push Kirk Cousins, right? You also have Fernando Mendoza that I'm sure wants to play week 1, and he's not going to come out there and just sit on the bench. When you have two quarterbacks sitting behind you, if you're Kirk Cousins, that are pushing you, that makes you better. You can't make a mistake, right? Everything is on your shoulders. As soon as you mess up, you got somebody replacing you. That makes quarterbacks better. That's going to make Kirk Cousins play his ass off, I believe, and play lights out for as much as he can, right? Mandalorian wins the starting job week 1. Book it. Okay, God, family, and Raiders. I like it. Week 1, huh? Man, I don't know if I could book that, but I'm going to write it down. Because we're taking the receipts today, so we're going to write it down. God and Family says, we're going to come back to all these. And make sure y'all book mine too. Day 1. All right, you're booked. Anybody else want me to book something? Anything else we're booking? We're taking receipts today. Let's book them up. Get them booked. Line it up. All right, 11-6, Alec. Alec. My guy Alec M coming out hot. 11-6. That's, if we win 10 games, 11 games, that's crazy. The Vikings will go undefeated. Yeah, with Kyler Murray. Come on, man. He's like 5'6", can't see over the defense. He plays damn good, but I don't know. Until proven otherwise, we are still a 3-14 at best right now. Prove me wrong. Easily. Last year, we should have easily won that game against the Chicago Bears that the defense folded like a lawn chair in the fourth quarter and they came down and kicked a field goal. That would have put us at 4 wins. We should have easily been able to hang on and beat the Jaguars in that game, that would have put us at 5 wins. We were right there neck and neck with the Houston Texans and should have won that game. That would have put us at 6 wins. And we lost to the Broncos 13-10. We were up the whole entire game, and the defense folded on us again. Wasn't the offense. That would have put us at 8 games. So that doesn't make us a 3-14. Our record shows that we were a 3-14. We also had the worst offensive line coach to ever coach an offensive line in the history of the NFL. And Brandon Carroll, he had no idea what he was doing. Our offensive line was so bad that they went on their own at nighttime and tried to get better as a group, as a unit, because our coaching was so bad. That doesn't make us a 3-14. That was our record. We also had a quarterback in Geno Smith that threw 18 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. 17 interceptions. You know how many games that we were in and could have won if we didn't have Geno throw 17 interceptions? We were also ranked 15th in run defense, with most of our runs coming in the third and fourth quarter when teams were already up by 2 touchdowns. Prove me wrong. How are we a 3-14 team? Until proven otherwise, this team, I just did, right? We have Ashton Genty that ran for almost 1,000 yards, 975 yards. He broke Josh Jacobs, who had the 14th best offensive line in the NFL's record with the 32nd best offensive line. You don't think he's going to have a better career than Josh Jacobs? He almost had 1,000 yards, 25 yards short of 1,000 yards. 80% of his yards were after contact. After contact. The best out of any running back in the history of the NFL. Nobody has had 80% of their yards after contact in anywhere in the NFL. Find it and prove me wrong. We also had Brock Bowers, who didn't play the whole entire season, was up and down, was hurt. We also had Tyler Lockett, who took reps away from guys like Dante Thornton and Jack Besh because of the coaching staff. So don't sit here and tell me, oh, prove me wrong. This team was not a 3-14 team. This team was very, very poorly coached, and it had favoritism that brought in guys like Alex Kappa, that played guys like Stone Forsythe instead of playing Charles Grant and playing Caleb Rogers. What do you mean this is a 3-14? That was just our record. A lot of those games should have went the other way. We win 8 games, right? And even some of those games, we can win 9 games. So this team is not a garbage team, bro. Look at the Patriots. They made it to the Super Bowl with one first-round pick playing left tackle or right tackle, and the rest of the offensive linemen were former fifth-round picks. We have 2 first rounds, a first-round center, a first-round left guard. We also have a second-round guard, a first-round tackle in Colton Miller. We also have a second-round guard in JPJ, a third-round guard in Caleb Rogers. Now we have another third-round center or guard in Charles Zune. We have 5 players on our offensive line that were drafted in the top 3 picks. There's not a lot of teams in the NFL that have that. Now we have the best offensive line coach in all of the NFL right now, and he has proven that everywhere he's went, their teams are up there in the top 5 or top 10 in rushing, in every rushing category. So I just don't see us being a 3-14 team. We had bad quarterback play, horrible offensive line. We couldn't run the damn football because our running back got hit in the backfield. The run plays that they were calling were absolutely ridiculous. And Ashton Genty still had over 1,300 yards from scrimmage, 5 touchdowns receiving and 5 touchdowns rushing. You have Jack Besh, who caught 20 passes out of 29 for 200 and something yards, and almost over half of those were first downs. Imagine if he gets 50 targets this year, right? 50 targets this year. All those numbers go up. You bring in a guy that has a chip on his shoulder, right? And Jalen Naylor that wants to be that number 1 guy. And to do that, he's going to have to beat out Jack Besh and Trey Tucker. That brings competition. So this team is not a 4-13 team, man. That's just our record. What running game? You say the best running game in the NFL. You watch, just watch. Mike Washington Ashton Genty are going to be tops in the NFL in rushing. I guarantee you. Mark it. Book that down. I'll book it down right myself. Ashton Genty, Mike Washington, tops. Top 5 rushing attack. Even against the 11 playoff teams we play, bro. Even against those 11 playoff teams. We also have a defense that had guys like guys like Kai Blue Kelly, who took almost all the snaps for the first 9-10 weeks, right? And couldn't cover a blanket. We also had guys like, Devin White, who played pretty well, but was playing out of position and was asked to cover instead of playing the Mike linebacker when he could just get to the quarterback, rush the quarterback, put pressure on the quarterback. So this team was coached horribly, but you can't blame the record of 4-13 on this team, bro. On this team. Come on, man. You know better than that. I don't, bro. I don't. The Jets are cursed, though. We are a shit team until proven otherwise. What? Why is everyone wait? Stop fucking calling me. Damn it. I know you're watching the live. Stop calling my phone. I get it. We are still a shit team until proven otherwise. Why is everyone putting so much pressure on this team to make the playoffs and have 10 wins? We have not even had a real practice yet to have one. You know why? Because we have a team of guys like Thomas Booker. We have a team of guys like Eric Stokes. We have a team of guys like Malcolm Kuntz and Kwity Paye that all have something to prove. Max Crosby, all have something to prove. These guys are tired of losing. Max Crosby has never had the depth on defense as he has right now. If he could stay healthy, that's fine. If he doesn't stay healthy, I think we're still okay. How many times can you say that in the Raiders' history since Max Crosby has been here for 8 years, that if Max goes down, this defense can still be all right? Now, 2 years ago when he got hurt, I thought they played better under AP, but that's, a different story. So I'm not putting pressure on them. This is just my opinion on what games I think we can win and what advantage we have over other teams. And playing the whole AFC, the NFC West, as much as Clint Kubiak did, that's a huge advantage on those 4 games: the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seattle Seahawks. Why are you still calling me? Those are huge advantages. You have guys that are pissed off because they're tired of having different coaches, right? This will be the first year, and mark my words, nobody gets fired this year. Book that, mark it, write it down. Nobody gets fired this year. I believe this offensive line coach, the offense with Andrew Janocko, right, help, coming up with schemes, bringing his fit to what Clint Kubiak already does, because now you have Andrew Janocko, who is not just a quarterback coach. Now he's an offensive coordinator, and now he can throw schemes in his game plan and mix that with Kubiak that a lot of teams are not going to be prepared for. They're thinking it's a Clint Kubiak system, but now it's an Andrew Janocko and a Clint Kubiak system, because you're not going to bring in a guy and give him an offensive coordinator position, but not give him, any leadway or authority to be able to involve what he wants to put into the game plan. So I'm not saying there's no pressure on this team. Like if we win 5 or 6 games, I'm completely happy. I'm happy with that. I'm just looking at the schedule and looking at who we have as quarterback, right? A veteran quarterback in the building that knows the system, that with a nasty running game and a good offensive line coach, which I believe we have, can definitely put pressure on a lot of teams in the NFL. And then you look at a defense that nobody knows what we're going to get in the defense. Are we going to get a Raven-style defense, a Patrick Graham-style defense, right? Whose defense are we getting? So I just feel like the Raiders have a huge advantage the first couple of weeks until teams get tape on us. And then after that, you just keep evolving for each game. So when you have the speed that we have on defense, it's hard you'd have to fall into 4 wins. Honestly, I mean, that's just crazy to me. Clue what we got. On paper we rock, but how many times have we said that and then sucked? The suck fest comes. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said that we are, stacked on paper. The problem going into the season for me last year was the depth. I didn't know who was going to help Ashton Genty. I didn't know who was going to open up holes, moving JPJ from center to right guard, right? That all mixed everything up. So I feel like this is just different. Last year we brought in Pete Carroll, right? He brought in a couple coaches here and there on the offense, on the defensive side. But he also took a year off coaching, right? He also has a philosophy that he was embedded in. We've heard Clint Kubiak say a million times, right? I have a system. I have, the blueprint and the game plan to what I want to do, but I also evolve that to fit my players. Now, we heard that last year from Chip Kelly. We could see in the first 3 games, he wasn't involving anything to fit anything for the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Not even close. You just said on paper. Yes, on paper this year, we look great. On paper last year, it was still sus. It was still sus. We didn't know, you got guys like Greedy Vance, UDFAs. You got guys like Kai Blue Kelly getting starts. You got, Dante Thornton, who was a first-round pick, penciled in as the number 1 receiver because that's what Pete Carroll believed, right? We had no competition at camp whatsoever. There was no competition at the linebacker position, at the quarterback position. They penciled in their offensive line. There was no competition there. So last year was different. And even on paper, I thought we were lacking a lot of things. This year, I don't think we lack so much. This year, I believe it's going to be much harder for the Las Vegas Raiders to choose their roster. I think some veterans are going to lose some jobs. D-Money says 9-8 with the possible wild card. I'd be happy with that too. Now, again, we're just looking at these games, and I'm telling you what games I think we have a chance to win out of this schedule. Now, it's going to change because once camp starts and once preseason starts, I'm going to do this again. Last year, way before this time, I made my prediction of where I thought the Raiders were going to be just based on, like you said, the paper and what we look like on paper, and then the fact that we brought in a coach that had 40 years experience. Nobody on the planet could have expected the Raiders to have the season they did last year. It wasn't because of the team. It wasn't because of the lack of starters, right? It was basically nobody in the coaching or in the front office was on the same page. Nobody knew the direction they wanted to go. Pete Carroll wanted to do this. Chip Kelly wanted to do this. Then Chip Kelly was out. Then you bring in Greg Olsen, who made it look better. Answer me this. Did this team not look better when Greg Olsen took over from, on the offense? Because I thought they were night and day. The offensive line tightened up a little bit, right? We started playing the rookies. Jack Best started getting some receptions. I thought once we got Greg Olsen in the building, it was totally different. No negativity, just being realistic, man. Hey, Rebel, check your messages. I'm checking my messages, and I'm not leaving. I gotta run downstairs really quick because I got something that was delivered, and if I don't check it, it's gonna melt. So watch the beginning of this video, and I'll be right back.
The rebellion. Raiders Unleashed on the screen. Hit that subscribe. It's the RaidersRebel in the building. Silver and black. 2026. Yeah. Welcome to the desert. You know what time it is. Let's go! Left the bay for the lights, now we lighting up the strip. A legion in the desert, yeah, we built a mothership. No more dirt on the diamond, no more Coliseum rain. Just a blacked out dome where we deal out the pain. We're the villains of the league, always been the outcast. Built on Al Davis Ghost and we're built to outlast. The torch is still burning, it's a lifestyle, a creed. In the city of sin, we're the only ones you need. Silver and black is back, check the throne. The Raiders got a new home in the dome. The nation is rising, we're coming for everyone. Forget the other 31, we're the only ones. Yeah, we're unleashed. Rebel with the vision, Raider nation worldwide. Making that precision, one mission, one pride. Until the game is won, fuck the other 31. We're second to none. Check the box office, yeah, the leadership is changing. All right,
my bad. That was a waste of time. I got up for absolutely nothing. All right, so yeah, man, that's where we're at. I feel like this team was definitely better than what they showed last year. I mean, could be optimistic. My guy Jeff says, but this season is how everyone gets so pissed at the team. Set the bar high and then fans crash, lose out. Keep it realistic and it won't be pissed. So you saying 4 wins is realistic, but me saying that we have a chance to possibly win 10 games because of the coaching is not realistic? What if we win 12 games? Again, we don't know what this team is going to be. I do know we have a special running back that's going into his second year with the offensive coordinator that loves to marry the run and the pass. I think that changes a lot. So I don't know how you could say you're just being realistic winning 4 games. You're guessing just like me and everybody else in here, right? You're saying you feel like we're a 4-win team. And I'm saying I feel like we're better than that. So you're not being realistic. You're making an assumption the same way I'm making an assumption. You just think your assumption is better than my assumption. that's the only scenario. Man, call my damn phone call. When I think, but this is not expectations. I don't have expectations. I'm just thinking realistically. If we get on a run, we have a solid quarterback in Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is better than Geno Smith has ever been. Kirk Cousins on his bad season is better than Geno Smith has ever been, right? That's my opinion. Now, if you have that with a running game and a defense, now we don't know what our defense is, right? This defense could be top 10, it could be top 15, it could be top 5. I mean, just look at the weapons they brought in. We got a starter that's probably going to, a rookie second round that's more than likely going to start at the free safety spot. We got a guy that we traded for in Taron Johnson that's not in the building yet, and might save us $18 million if that doesn't work out. So I'm not going to crash if the team doesn't win. I'm just realistically saying I think we have an advantage. I think it's a huge advantage that we don't have a primetime game, right? You don't have any short weeks to have to prepare for a team in 2 or 3 days. You have a full week to prepare for all these teams. I don't like the fact that we have a bye week at week 13, but I do like the fact that it gives us a chance to win our last 5 games. I mean, realistically, if you look at those last 5 games, if you have Mendoza in and this team starts clicking, and then you have a bye week, right? And then you have those 5 games, I really like our chances. You're saying we can't win 4 games. I'm saying we could go undefeated the last 5. Bonix photo is fake. It's not real, by the way. Is it? Is it? I don't know. Do you have a picture of his real leg? Send it to me because I would like to see. Because if it's not, if it's not real, I mean, if it is real, he's got a long way to go. But if it's not, then it is what it is. Everyone forgets that even last year with Geno throwing 1,000 interceptions, the Raiders defense was not bad. Now with new additions, can't wait to see them work. Preach, my guy, D Money. Preach. That's 100%, bro. 100%. This defense was not bad last year. It wasn't bad. And the offense wasn't bad either, right? Michael Mayer, when Brock Bowers went down, had himself a hell of a game. 89 yards, a tutty, was getting yardage. Imagine what he can do in a Clint Kubiak system with Brock Bowers on the side of him. If you got two tight ends having close to 100 yards a game and a running back having close to 100 yards a game, bro, that's 300 right there. You ain't even counting the rest of the players. Can they do that every game? No. But what they can do is when you double Brock, throw it to Mike Mayer, right? When you start getting to the point where, okay, we might have to start doubling Jack Best a little bit because he's, manhandling guys out there, leaves Brock wide open, right? You might get to the point where, okay, we can't double anybody and we're just playing everybody man. And, everybody's going to eat. If you're telling me you're going man to man with anybody with Jack Best, I'll take that. I'll take that all day. If you're telling me, you're leaving man on man with Brock Bowers, bro, I'm taking that all day as well. So this offense, I feel like, everybody says we need a number one receiver, right? You got to have that guy to stretch the field. But how do we know we don't have that, right? We're just assuming, right? The schedule is out. We haven't seen any practices. We haven't seen anybody, but I'm going off of what I've seen last year, how the players played, how those players have taken another step, how they're going to get better coaching, how they're going to get better, fundamentals, which was a big problem last year. Guys trying to catch the ball like this, catching the ball like this. All that matters. All that matters. And I think when you change the culture with discipline like we have, I mean, the fact that you have to earn your shield, and I know you're probably against that too, and a lot of people are, oh, what is this, high school, having to earn your shield? But hold on, we're missing the big picture here, right? It's the point of putting in your head and putting in their head that if I screw up, I'm not getting this shield, right? I'm not earning it, right? A lot of people are like, oh, but the veterans shouldn't have to do that. Max Crosby shouldn't have to earn his shield. It's not about earning your shield. It's the point that they're making you prove and work harder to think that you're getting your shield. Everybody's going to get their shield unless you get cut, right? They're not saying like, oh, you're going to earn your shield. One day we're going to give it to this guy because he did better than everybody else. You put your sticker on, nobody else has their stickers. I just don't feel like it's like that. I feel like it's you earn your shield by making the team. When everybody makes the team, then they get their shield, right? No reason to have shield on helmets for guys that aren't going to be here. So I like that mentality, right? Whether people think it's, a high school thing or not, I feel like it's a way to get guys to play together, to bond together, and to pick up what your coach is putting down, right? Show them that you believe in them. MF got the first pick. Now all of a sudden they're in the playoffs. Raiders fans are special. Appreciate you. You're special too. Not to me, but to somebody. What we got? I hear you, Jeff, but we have to admit this regime was built. The regime they're building looks like it's the beginning done the right way. It gives me plenty of optimism that we will be way better than previous years. And way better is 6 games. I mean, way better would be a 6-game win, right? We won 4 games the year before, 4-13, and then 3 games this year. So it's not hard to have an improvement. We all said this last year with Patrick. We all said this last year with Pete Carroll. And his history, we thought we were going to be a good path. This time last year, how did that end up? Okay, but can we just do me a favor? Can we stop looking at the past, bro? There's no future in the past. There's no future in it. So if we constantly live in the past and say, this is the team of old, and this team has to be like the team of last year or the team before or the team before that, because that's what we were. No, there's no growth. There's no fucking evolution or development in that. Stop looking at what we were last year, because you can't take that picture of last year. The rookies didn't get to play. The guys that should have got the ball didn't get the ball. The guys that, should have had help not carrying the load all the time and not getting hit in the backfield didn't have that opportunity. They didn't play guys like Raheem Mostert, which, I mean, what do you get, like 20 carries the whole year, right? That's not helping. So we can't blame bad coaching and bad decisions on all the players in the building, because not all the players were bad. I mean, there was guys sitting on the bench that should have been playing, like probably Charles Grant, like Caleb Rogers. Both of those guys should have been playing over Stone Forsythe and Alex Kappa. We know that, right? So I'm not looking at it like that. You can look at it however you want to, and that's your opinion. I respect your opinion. But for me, I'm not looking at the past, right? I'm looking at the future. The last year was last year. And I believe Clint Kubiak said that himself, right? He said, we ain't looking at what this team was last year. This last year's team is gone, bro. It's adios. Most of the players are gone. All the coaches are gone, but one. They didn't keep anybody, right? Everybody is gone. It's a I think Luke Steckel they kept, right? Was that the only one? Or did they even keep Steckel? I don't know. But anyways, all our coaches are gone. It's a new day, and if you keep living in the past, bro, you just can't grow as a team. If we keep putting that, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever, or if you believe that you control your mind, but when you're constantly negative and saying, "Oh, this is where we're going to be," this team is never, ever, ever going to be good, no matter how hard they play. Too much negativity surrounding it. We got to be positive. And remember how happy and excited everyone was for AP, and how did that end? I don't get what your point is. And AP didn't end very well. But you can't sit here and tell me that if he didn't get another chance, this team wouldn't be better than it was that year, right? How did it start? Let's ask that. How did AP end? How did AP start? How did it start? It started with a linebacker coach that had never coached in the NFL, taking a team that was 3-5 to 8-9 and being 1 game, 2 games away from the playoffs. That's how it started. How it ended? They brought in a new general manager. They let go of Chip Kelly, right? There was a bond there between Champ Kelly and AP. There was a bond there. They get a different guy that brings in a different philosophy, that brings in a different quarterback. And they didn't go with the rookie quarterback that went 5-4 as a rookie and had 9 touchdowns to 1 interception in his last game. They didn't go with the rookie that Devontae Adams said, man, once Aiden O'Connell figures out who he is and comes into his own, this kid's going to be good in the NFL, right? They didn't go with that. They decided to go with Gardner Minshew. So again, we're looking at how AP did, but it wasn't all AP. He didn't have all the authority, that didn't have near the authority that Pete Carroll had, right? And he sure as a hell didn't have the authority that I believe Clint Kubiak's going to have, because I don't think Clint Kubiak came here and said, okay, I'll leave Seattle where I just won a Super Bowl, and I'll come here and let Spytech dictate what I'm going to do and how I'm going to run my team. I believe Clint Kubiak has way more authority, way more say over the locker room, way more say over everything about this team than AP ever did. AP was just a pawn, bro. They gave the nation what they wanted, and they didn't give that man a chance. Now, you have your own beliefs, but I felt like AP, if he would have got his chance, his way with the guys that he wanted, and they would have kept Champ Kelly in, that was bringing in guys like Caleb Von Chasen, Jack Jones, bringing in guys that were helping this squad, right? I think it would have been way different. So I don't think AP got a fair shake. Yeah, you could continue to go on. Let's keep going. Quit reminding us, right? Coaching matters so damn much. Fact. Yep, worst O-line coach in Raiders history. 100%. 100%. They were, this hair is tickling my nose. It is killing me. They were 100% the worst coach team in all of football. Kush, a Deadbolts fan. What? Wish the shit A could A. I don't know what that means. Easy for Jeff. He dodged a nightmare in week 1 last season. What? I don't get it. I'm lost. So Seattle is not defending this. Is not the defending Super Bowl team. So we are defending worst team in 2025. still upon proven otherwise. Wait, so Seattle is not the defending Super Bowl team. So we are the defending worst team. Oh, I get what you're saying. So Seattle didn't win the Super Bowl, and we're not the worst team until proven otherwise, right? I got you. I got you. I guess it comes down to your preference and proven others. Go check that dog. I already checked the dog. So from OT and mini camp, um, you think we're great and ready to win 10 games. No, see, I didn't say that. I never once said we were great. And I never said once we were going to win 10 games. I said this was my prediction of games that I think we could possibly win. Possibly. Now, possibly means you have to have everything go right, right? You have to have the ball bounce your way. You have to get some calls. You have to have a little bit of luck, right? And for last year, that team was the Patriots. We beat them the first year of the season. They were also a 3-win team the year before. And guess how many games they won the following year with a new head coach, with a new offensive coordinator, with a system that everybody bought into. You can't tell me the New England Patriots roster was even a top 15 roster in the NFL last year. If you want to, you can pull up on the channel. We will set up a live one of these days and we will debate all day long, Jeff, if you would like. You can't honestly tell me that Seattle on paper had a top 15 team. I mean, maybe Seattle didn't even have a top 15 team on paper. I don't think. But the New England Patriots sure the hell didn't. That roster did not look like a Super Bowl team. They had some luck. They had some things bounce their way. They had some teams in front of them get hurt, lose some players, lose some key players, right? That's what it takes to have a winning system. I'm not saying that we're good enough to go out there and win 10 of these games. I'm saying you're going to have things happen, right? Also, I'm saying we're going to play 2 quarterbacks. That's going to be a big shock for a lot of teams. I think Mendoza plays this season, whether it's week 8, whether it's after the bye week, that's going to be, right? Teams are going to be every week wondering, are we preparing for Mendoza or Kirk Cousins, especially after a loss? The Raiders don't have to announce, hey, we're starting, we're starting Aiden O'Connell or we're starting Fernando Mendoza. We can catch teams off guard. OTA minicamp. Coming out of break. You guys are so off base way too early in the season. So from OTA as a minicamp, you think nah. So see, no. I feel like you can only be bad for so long. Same thing I said with Kansas City last year, right? You can only be good and have a dynasty for so long. Eventually, that dynasty is going to crumble. I had the Chiefs winning 7 games last year. What'd they win? 6? So, and looking at the Chiefs roster, if you looked at that on paper, you're thinking, damn, this is a 12-win, 13-win team, and they're going to win the division. But they didn't. They had problems. Their running game was not so good. Losing Snead did not help them, right? Then you get your quarterback hurt, right? Things go wrong. That's what happens in the NFL. So if some of these things happen, we don't know if if Sam Darnold will be the quarterback when we play Seattle. We don't know if Matthew Stafford is going to be the quarterback when we play the Rams, right? It could be the quarterback they just drafted. We don't know. We don't know who's going to get hurt in these games, right? That's why you predict and, make assumptions of where you think this team's going to be. And that's why if you're smart, unlike me, you'll do 2 breakdowns, unlike last year where I just stuck to the 12-5 and stuck to the 12-5 and stuck to the 12-5. We got good ingredients, but the recipe has not yet been proven. 100%. 100%. My point exactly. This is it's so hard to understand that for him. I don't get it. How's okay. I see you. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Exactly. We have the ingredients, but the recipe has not yet been proven. But that recipe has seemed to been proven for Clint Kubiak everywhere he has gone. It has been proven in his offense everywhere he has went. Now we could say the same thing about Pete Carroll, but the difference is one is 39 years old and the other was 78. Right? There's a big difference. One is stuck in his ways. One is still evolving. So Bucket Jeff is wearing a Mendoza jersey and will love him by the end of the season. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be hard for some Raider fans that when Mendoza starts winning to make their point of why we shouldn't have drafted him first overall, right? Just like Ashton Genty last year, he shouldn't have been drafted sixth overall. I think he made a very good point with the worst offensive line in the NFL that you draft guys like that when they're available, right? So will he wear a jersey? I don't know. I can claim whatever I want, just like you claim you win 10 wins. Facts. I didn't say you couldn't. Not everyone gets on the bus at the first stop. Shout out my guy Frank Weber in the building, right? Not everybody gets on the bus in the first stop. But I guarantee you, when this team starts picking up momentum and steam, everybody will be on that bus. Everybody will be on that bus. No one gets fired is the first thing you said that makes sense, that I have to agree with. This is the problem, Jeff. You don't have to agree with shit I say, my brother. You don't have to. That's you don't have to agree. I'm not up here. What I got nothing over here. Yeah. Bro, I'm not up here doing this shit. You're getting sleepy. You will now listen to everything that Raiders Rebel has to say. You will believe it. Come on, man. I ain't trying to convince you. I ain't trying to convince you with shit. I'm giving my takes. Remember, not all great coordinators become good head coaches. We have all heard that song and watched that movie. 100%. 100%. And he might not be a great coach. He might not be. But from what we've heard so far, from all the players that have talked about him, says he's a man of very short words. You know what that tells me? A man of very few words. He must be from Missouri, right? The show me state. He ain't about talking about it. You don't talk about it, he be about it. So Clint Kubiak is a man of very short words because he believes in what he does and he knows that his system works. So will it work as head coach? I mean, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And he could be a flop. He might be the worst coach in the history. And, the one thing that I said that Jeff agreed with might be the one thing I was wrong about. Maybe he gets fired at the beginning of the season. We don't know. Frank True, but then you have to run the next stop and catch the bus. It'll be raining cats and dogs chasing Chase if you bites you in the ass while you're running to the next stop. 100%. The making sense again, LOL, stop it. They were great with Olsen, 31-0. Philly. See, here we come with the great again. I love how you just put words in my mouth. I mean, are you just trying to just make me look wrong in everything I say or what? Because I never said we were great with Greg Olsen. I said this team showed a huge improvement with Greg Olsen. Now, yes, we lost 31-0, but they also put in a quarterback that had played his first game as a Raider in Kenny Pickett. So, I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Never crossed the 50-yard line. Yeah, but we got a special running back in Washington 100%. Now everybody's on the Mike Washington thing, right? Now Mike Washington is great. I talked about him all season long. Mike Washington. Now he's great. Most people never even watched Mike Washington play at Arkansas at any of his games until he got drafted here. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know 100%. I know he has some fumble issues. He also has some other issues, but will he have to carry all the load? No. So yeah, it was a great pick. Great pick. There's a reason why the rear view mirror is so small and the front windshield is so big. Focus needs to be more in front of us, not behind us. Thank you, God and family. Exactly. You can focus on the past all the time, but if you sit there and dwell on everything bad you've done in your life and everything bad that's happened in your life, it's going to continue to happen and you're going to have a miserable life, right? People got to adapt and move forward. We got to get over this shit that this team could never win anything because we never won anything in 20 years. Eventually, it all has to come around. So I'm going to keep going back to this Chiefs dynasty. Now, they might be good again next year, this year. We don't know. But I'm gonna keep going back to the Chiefs dynasty, right? Nothing lasts forever. All things come to an end. Hell, the Buffalo Bills made it to the Super Bowl 4 times and never even won, and were trash for 20 years after that. So, and now they're in the playoffs every year again. Everything comes around. It all comes back around. Raiders. OMG, did he really just say undefeated last 5? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You want me to write that down too? Jeff, you take the bad juju and get out of here with that crap. Come on, this ain't the Waste of Talent show, bro. What are you talking about? Hey, I tipped the plug and he said thank you. Nice. Yeah. Tip the plug for all your Raider info. Not what y'all are thinking. This is the plug for all your Raider info and news. I love they earned the shield. 100% on board with it. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty legit. You shouldn't get a shield on practice squad. You shouldn't get a shield to your first real game unless you wait, is there more? Is there more? I don't know. I missed it. Practice helmets never had shields before, but until the first preseason game. What? They've always had it. Hold up. Now you got me wondering. They've always had shields on their practice helmets. What do you mean? Let's go 2020. I don't know. Yeah, bro. Every video. I guess they don't. When the pads come on, they don't have the shield. You're right, because they have the styrofoam thing on their head, right? They have the condom on. So you're right at that point. The condom doesn't have a shield, which kind of negates the fact that why are we competing to have our shield on our helmet? Because during practice, everybody wears those practice helmets. So practice helmets never had a shield before until the first I read that completely wrong. If you don't remember the past, you're doomed to repeat it. No, you can remember the past, but you don't have to live in it. You don't have to live in it and constantly bring it up and be like, oh, we can't evolve because of our past, man. That's as human beings, we should all evolve. I just don't remember I've got that. You don't want to look at the past, but it's right there staring at all of us right in the face. No, not really. You just convince your self-conscious mind to move on from those bad days and bad decisions. Shout out for the $2 holla. Raiders, appreciate you in the building. It will be easier to not look once we get moving, right? I feel that. My guy just says, Josh McDumbass, great OC. And how was he as our head coach? You just said keep going the past. hype only led to us being miserable fans. So just putting yourself in that predicament. No, actually, if you know, I'm not setting myself up for nothing. El Pistapa, what's good? What's good? Rebel, you backpedaling now? What? Wait, hold on. What am I backpedaling on? Now, so it's possibly winning, and the ball bounces the right way. A while ago, you said it like it was going to be written in stone, and now it's going to be with all the new talent. Wait, what? I never said anything was written in stone. I said, let's go over the record. If you were here in the beginning, record predictions and my take on what I believe games we can win and lose. And for every game, you have to have something go your way, right? Nobody just goes in there and dominates. You have to have an interception, right? A turnover, a fumble, some sacks for a loss. Something has to happen. You don't just go in and go three and out and three and out and dominate teams, right? It doesn't work like that. And I'm not backpedaling with all this new talent, mad new talent. Raiders. Football in the building. Do we have the ingredients? Let Spy Tech chef cook the meal. The meal's not ready. It might be raw. It might be raw. We don't know. We don't know, right? The meal could be raw, but it could also be cooked, right? If you watch the live I did a couple weeks ago, I broke down every team in the NFL for the last 25 years that has had a first year rookie quarterback and a rookie first time head coach. First time rookie quarterback and head coach changed losing teams record by 63%. Having a first time head coach and a first year quarterback rookie changed their winning percentage by 63% out of the 12 teams in the last 25 years that have had a first year head coach and a first year quarterback. Those are stats that you can't just overlook. So the ingredients are there. Are we still missing a couple pieces? We won't know until preseason, right? We won't know until we get the pads on. But that's just going to show, what guys are making flashes. It's not going to show what our offenses look like or what our defense is going to look like because they're not going to show any of that early. I hope Mendoza lights it up when he gets his chance. Why would I want to see him fail? If he fails, the team fails, and I don't want that. I mean, I hope not. That would be shitty. That would be shitty. Shout out for the $2 holla. Let's go. Let's go. Write it down. We're going to write it down. Raiders record this year will be 7-10. Okay. Can't be mad at that, Gabe. Can't be mad at that at all. You want me to book it and write it down? Because I will. You can leave the past in the past. Right? Right? There's no future in the past. Raider Nation, what up? Tamar, what's good? What's good? You're an Eagles fan? Shout out to you. Nice. What it do? Rebel, salute to the chat. Raider Knight in the building. What's good, my brother? Also kind of the Vikings because Justin Jefferson. Oh, so you're not a diehard of any team. You just got a bunch of teams, right? That's all good. That's all good. We could do it like that. I was at that shit ass game in Philly last year. LOL. Cold as hell. I bet. Like it before you light it. Nice. I like that. We will be fine. I'm not worried. 100%. 100%. 9-8. Yeah, I said it. So I got us at 10-7. You got us at 9-8. Super chat. I owe you. Shout out my guy. You don't owe me nothing, my brother. You don't owe me shit. All right, let's see if I can pull up this damn. No, not a video. Shit. Let me pull up the schedule and let's go over it and look at it. I think I finally got it. Forgot I was downloading it and all that good stuff. It is so hot in here. I am sweating my ass off. All right, this is it. All right, this is what I got. This is what I got. Processing. All right, so we have fucking setting up tailgates and blizzards is the worst. I could imagine, bro. Could imagine. At least people, I wouldn't be drinking beer. I'd be drinking hot chocolate or coffee. All right, so this is what I got, man. We go the Dolphins, week 1 at home. That's a dub. We go to LA and we finally get the monkey off our back and we win a game in SoFi and we beat the Chargers. Then I say we beat the Saints, but I don't know. I had to mix match it. I think we stumble the Saints. Then we have Kansas City. Then we have the Super Bowl defending champions. I think either one of those games could go either way. I have us losses at all of those. And this probably will change. We'll probably do it a couple more times, I'm sure, before the season starts, unlike last year where we just did it once. But the Buffalo Bills game, I feel like we finally have a defense that can commit turnovers. Josh Allen loves to commit turnovers, right? He's great at fumbling the ball and throwing interceptions at the most timely positions. So I'm hoping, I'm praying. I got a win in Buffalo. And then the Rams game, I think, comes down to 3 points, right? I think it's a close game. But we win, right? We win by probably I'd say a field goal. Wouldn't be surprised if it, 7 or less. Then we have the Jets at home. That's a dub. All right, we go to the Jets. Back-to-back road games. I think that's rough. I have us beating the 49ers, but it could be the 49ers, it could be the Rams, or it could be the Seattle Seahawks. I have us winning one of those games, and I explain the reasons why, right? When you have a guy like Clint Kubiak that was 4-2 in the AFC West last year or in the NFC West last year, Clint Kubiak in Seattle was 4-2, so he knows how to beat those teams. Also, he played 2 of those teams in the playoffs, and beat both of those teams. So he was actually 6-2, or he played 3 of those teams in the playoffs. Sorry, 49ers, Rams, 49ers and Rams. So he played 6-2 in that division. I think that gives us a big leg up. So it could be the 49ers game we win. I wouldn't be surprised. Coming back to the Bay, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of Raider fans, and I give us a dub there. Seattle game, I think could go either way. I have us winning that game, but I don't think we win 10 more games, so I had to mix them around. I think that's a loss. Broncos game, I believe, is a loss at the Broncos. Then we have the Browns at the Browns. I believe we go to the Browns. We get one there. Then we have a bye week. And whether it's Mendoza at week 8, right, or whether it's Mendoza here on out, I think we lose to the Chargers. They get payback for us beating them in the first game. They finally put it all together. The team starts to gel. Maybe not, and maybe we win that. And then the Broncos, we break the streak, right? They beat us the last 4 games in a row, and then we lose earlier to them, so that would be 5 games in a row. I see us breaking that streak with the Donkeys and winning that game. And then we go on a run, man. I see us getting the last 4 games. So I have us the Broncos, the Titans, the Cardinals, and the Chiefs in the last 4 games, and that puts us at 10-7. That's where I'm at. That's where we're at. What's going on with Tyron Johnson? Tyron Johnson has $18.4 million on his contract, but only 1.7 of that was guaranteed for his 2-year deal. The rumors are, and the little birdie in my ear says, he wants guaranteed money. The Raiders are in a position where they can give him the guaranteed money, right, and not be a problem. But I feel like there's a problem with him wanting the guaranteed money because he signed the contract, and now that he sees that we drafted a safety that could probably compete for his job, or 2 safeties that could probably compete for his job, right? And a corner that could probably compete for that slot position if he wants to play there. Now the man wants guaranteed money, and I just feel like the Raiders aren't aren't down with that. So I would be surprised if Teron Johnson ends up playing for the Raiders this season if things don't work out. Now it's not mandatory meetings, right? It's voluntary, but not showing up to Raiders voluntary meetings, I believe. Just want to hide this. I don't know what happened, but showing up to not showing up to voluntary meetings, I believe is a problem. It shows the guys that want to be here, right? There's a lot of guys that aren't making guaranteed money that also, are showing up and doing what they're supposed to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if the man gets moved. He didn't ask to get traded. Just pay Tyron. He was a top 5 safety last year. Was he a top 5 safety? If he was a top 5 safety with the injuries he had and the games he missed, then yeah, you should probably pay him. But with the injury history, and they're paying him $9 million per season, right? 18 plus million for 2 years. I don't really feel like you need to pay Teron Johnson that much money when you have Stukes, right? You have Trayvon Stukes. Just put him out there. Go with the rookie from the jump. But if Teron Johnson does play, that makes our defense even better, right? Having that veteran leadership. I just don't know how much money he wants, what he's asking, or how much guarantees. And I could see that being, ended up being a problem for the Raiders this year. And you're right, man. They did, he didn't ask to be traded. The Buffalo Bills traded him. Maybe he doesn't want to be on this team. And, maybe he's looking at this team on paper like a lot of us are and or some of us are, and thinking, damn, this team has a chance to be really, really, really good. Last year, we had a problem getting pressure on the quarterback. We had a problem stopping the run to the outside. This year, we have linebackers that can get to the hash marks, that can get to the numbers, stop those runs to the outside. We have Thomas Booker that's coming back in his second year, right? Go watch his interviews. Has a lot to say. I think he's going to be a huge, huge leader and a captain on this defensive line and help, get this going. I wouldn't be surprised, if Adam Butler, if they decide to move on from him, if some of these young guys step up. So I believe we have a faster defensive line unit. I guarantee we have faster linebackers that can cover. And I guarantee you we have a faster secondary and safety room, right? All of our corners are in the 4.3s. We have safeties that are, 4.4, right? Way more speed on the back end. So I feel like if you look at the Raiders last year, their biggest problem was giving up huge yardage in zone, right? They didn't have the guys that had the recovery speed that if they got beat or if they missed an assignment, they could still get back and make a play on the ball. This year we have that, right? This year we have linebackers that can get through the gaps, right? They can get to the A and B gaps. They can put pressure on that run game, put pressure on the quarterback. Last year we didn't have that. If you look at Landon Roberts, I mean, I don't know how many pressures he had, but I want to say it wasn't a lot, right? It was not a lot. Salute to daughter, her graduation from school on Tuesday. Proud daddy. Nice. Salute to your daughter. Congratulations on the graduation. I'll send you a Raiders Unleashed shirt. But yeah, man, I bet you are a proud daddy. I can only imagine. My baby girl graduated from the U of A, University of Arkansas. Damn, it's been a minute. I want to say 5 years ago. So yeah, very, very proud moment. And yeah, I mean, that's the NFL. It stands for not for long, right? You don't have to ask to be traded, but if you can't stay healthy, if you can't stay healthy, shout out for the $2 hollow faded. I appreciate you. Raiders. But yeah, man, if you can't stay healthy, then availability is the best ability, and they also, were trying to work their cap salary out, so they had to move on from some players. But if Teron Johnson doesn't want to be here, I mean, just dip. just say you don't want to be here, bro. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be just fine. So, what games are y'all going to? Let me know. Does anybody have tickets yet? Do they have any games lined up? Have they booked any hotels? Right? Have you booked travel arrangements? Where are you going? Like I said, I'm working on that as soon as I get off here. You're gonna cry like Derek Carr? Hey man. It takes a real man to cry, bro. It takes we're taught our whole lives that crying makes you weak. But yeah, when you watch your daughter get married, or when you have to give her away, or watch her graduate, when you see your kids accomplish things or shit like that, it's hard not to. It's hard not to. Shit, I think I even might have had a tear when they drafted Mendoza. I'm not gonna lie. It's been 40 damn years, it seems like. Teron Johnson is actually considered a slot corner and has been number one for the last 3 years. Well, then he better bring his ass back. I mean, $9 million, bro. See, that's another thing. Another thing people are sleeping on. I knew he was a top safety, but I didn't know he was the best slot corner for the last 3 years. I'm gonna have to look that up. But he was definitely, if he was considered the best slot corner the last 3 years in the NFL, I mean, you got to pay the man. You got to pay the man. Not gonna lie, I cried when my daughter graduated back in 2011. LOE. I'll be at New England and the Jets. Nice. Maybe one other game. Yeah, I'm working on the home opener. The time frame for me is just rough. I don't know. I think I want to get to a preseason game in Houston, because that's not too far. I can make that. The Kansas City game. We'll see, though. We'll see. I'm trying to go, but I can't get off work so far. Yeah, work, man. What do you mean you can't get off work, bro? It's like 8 months in advance. You tell them, hey, I got this planned and I need this day off. Like, hell no. You've been at your job long enough. You could tell them you need a day off. As long as you book it 2 weeks in advance, they can't tell you no. OMG, her wedding. I was Big Daddy walking her down the aisle, right? Yeah, if those days don't make you cry, then nothing will. You just hard as hell. And your heart has been hardened. So yeah, man, that's where we're at. I feel like this year is gonna be special. I think we're gonna surprise some teams. We're gonna have some struggles. That month of October right there, as you can see on mine, I didn't have us winning any of those games, right? I changed my mind. I had us winning the Kansas City game and losing the Saints game, but I flip-flopped that, because that's one of the roughest schedules in football, man. And one of the roughest schedules I might ever seen in football in October. We play 4 teams that are all playoff teams, and I think that decides our season. So if we come out of that, that month of October with only 2 losses in that 4-game stretch, I think we're set up pretty damn good for the rest of the season. 100%. Raider Paul in the building. Raiders. Good time to be optimistic, right? You're going to LA week 2. That game would be fun as hell, bro. I haven't been to a SoFi game. I haven't been to SoFi Stadium yet. I don't know. I can't afford, honestly, to go to the games I want to. So I'm gonna have to grow this channel more, something. Start selling t-shirts. I don't know, something. But I don't know. We haven't had a home opener since 2021 in Las Vegas. You know, I don't really give two shits about the Miami game, but it's just a home opener fact, right? The fact that it's been since, you know, the first year we were in Vegas or the second year we were in Vegas that we've had a home opener with the vibes being different. I think that kind of kickstarts this season, right? If you win that game, if you get some motivation, I think it puts us in a good spot. So I'm gonna have to make a choice, bro. Make a choice. The home opener would be nice, but seeing us beat the Chargers in SoFi would be amazing. Your first time going. Wait, my first time going. Everyone going. Damn. I think it's very possible we could lead the league in rushing this season. I like that. Hot take. Hot take. Very hot take. How do you say your name? Is it Tamar? I don't want to get it wrong. You got that video yet? All right, that song, making songs. Man, I know everybody's going. Everybody's also right now in Bakersfield, and I wanted to go to that. And I told people last year, if you plan the damn Bakerfield shit, I need to know like 3 months in advance. But I found out a month ago, and it wasn't enough time for me to be able to make it. So I'm very, very upset right now that everybody's having a blast in Bakerfield, meeting Trey Tucker. Right, I think Trey Tucker's was gonna be there. So shout out to everybody that is there, that got to go there. I said this last year, but I'm gonna say it. I need to be there next year. I have to make that trip. I have not made the trip to Bakersfield. Leading the league in rushing would be amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. I've been on here 2.5 hours. Oh my god, bro. No wonder my eyes are sweating and watering. But yeah, man, that's the record prediction. That's what I got. Just going off of, like I said, I think we have an advantage in the NFC West. Our coaches played them 6 times last year. If we come out with 2 of those wins, if we come out with 3 wins in the division, that's 5 wins right there. And then you add the only wins that Jeff said we're going to get: the Jets, the Cardinals, the Titans, right? The Saints. I mean, shit, that could be 9 right there, right? So the ball has to go our way. It has to bounce. Lady Luck has to be on our side. I mean, just look at what the Tuck rule game, just look what that did for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. It shot them from a team that was maybe a wild card team to a team that had one call go their way, ended up making the playoffs, winning the Super Bowl that year, and went on a crazy ass dynasty run. Why can't the Raiders be that team? Why can't we have one play this season that goes our way and we win a game that we shouldn't win and it turns the season around? Why not us? Why not? So that's what I got. That's what I'm going with. I wouldn't be surprised if, we're a 6 or 7 win team. I think our floor is 6 wins. If we don't win at least 6 games this season with Kirk Cousins, with Aiden O'Connell, with Fernando Mendoza, I'm going to be pissed. Really. I feel like we should win 6 games. Even with the schedule, you got to win some of those. You got to win some of those and pull some off. So I will be highly upset if we don't win 6 games. If we win 4, there's going to be riots. There's going to be riots. They did Mendoza dirty, giving him a small helmet in the NFP. Right. So I'm glad you brought that up, dude. I'm glad you brought that up. I thought I was the only one Raider night. So did y'all see the picture of Fernando Mendoza? The helmet looked like it didn't even fit his head, bro. It looked like he took a little grade school kid's helmet and tried to squeeze it on his big ass head. If they make him play with that, bro, he might not play in the NFL very long. So I don't know what the NFLPA did with the damn helmet. I thought he already tried one on and fitted one. You should have carried that on the plane with you, because whatever they gave you was absolutely horrible, bro. Horrible. Going to the graduation Thursday, and I'll be in the hospital on Wednesday. Oh, fuck, man. I hate to hear that, bro. You'll be good, my brother. You'll be good. You'll be good, my brother. Prayers, if y'all could send out prayers to my guy Lawrence, the OG Raider. Obviously going through some things. Let's get a prayer chain going for my brother, right? Hope all works out well, man. That's shitty shit. You got to go to the graduation on Tuesday, and then you'll be in the hospital on Wednesday. Man, that's shitty, my brother. That's shitty. I hate that for you. I hate that for you. Well, my day just went to shit. Man, I hate hearing that, my brother. I hope you're good, dog. I really do. Whatever you're doing, stop. If it's energy drinks, if it's soda, if it's smoking, stop, 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 my brother. Prayers, prayers. You'll be all right, though. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. The heart could be fixed. But yeah, man. So that's what we got. I'm gonna get off here, and we're gonna do these hit it or quit it. So, this is a new segment we're gonna be doing every show. Hit it or quit it, right? Would you hit it or would you quit it? Is that gonna keep going? Is it on loop? What's going on here? Pause. All right, that's way better. Whew, that was driving me nuts. All right, so the options are hit it and quit it. And before we do that, drop your final record prediction in the comments. It won't be final. I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not writing it down on the list like I did, some other things. So don't be scared. Write down your final predictions, and you could change it at any time, right? Preseason hasn't started, nothing started, but write those down, get them in. So the first question is hit it or quit it. Clint Kubiak will win. I guess that should say coach of the year, not if the year. Let me change that real quick. It looks like I know how to spell. All right. I think it's changed. Hit it or quit it. Clint Kubiak will win coach of the year this season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Put HI for hit it and put QI for quit it. If you don't think he's going to be in the running or doesn't get coach of the year, drop it in the comments. All right, I could delete that one because I already used it. And the next one is hit it or quit it, right? Puff or pass, whatever you want to call it. Hit it or quit it. Fernando Mendoza will start before the bye week. The bye week is week 13. Fernando Mendoza will start before the bye week. Hit it or quit it. HI for hit it. QI for quit it. Let me know how you feel. Do you think Mendoza starts at all this season? Does he start week 8 like I predicted? If Kirk Cousins struggles, let me know. Let me know. What do you have? Hit it or quit it. Fernando Mendoza will start before the bye week. Hit it or quit it. And then the last one. And this one's for Jeff. My brother. The Raiders will win 10 games this season. Hit it or quit it. You don't have to reply. I already know your answer. But But for real, though, the Raiders will win 10 games this season. HI for hit it. QI for quit it. Let me know your answer. Where are you at? Do you believe? Do you not believe? Has my thing not been running the whole time? Wait, where's my checker? Oh, that's some bull hockey. Thought it was started. All right, so that's running. There's all the links. Let me know, man. Hit it or quit it. What you got on those three things? Yes, no, maybe so. 3 hours and 40 minutes, man. I appreciate everybody in the building. The first one, we have Clint Kubiak, Coach of the Year. I believe that's what we're talking about. We got a hit it for Frank Weber, a hit it from Lawrence. And then the next question will be, what was the next question? I forgot. Will Mendoza start before the bye? Frank Weber says no, quit it. Faded Raider says yes, hit it. Raider Paul says starting week 1 with a hot take. Okay. Tamar says hit it. I probably should have done these separately because I don't know which ones are which. So that's for the last one, right? Hit it. Frank Weber says quit it. Amar says hit it. And my guy Raider Knight says Cousins will show up and play lights out. No Mendoza unless Cousins gets injured. Are we so far in points where he sits and starts? That last part got me confused. Are we Cousin gets injured? Are we so far in points he sits and starts? Yeah. Depends on how many games Mendoza starts. So I had him possibly starting. I'm pretty much guaranteed, unless we're a 9-win team or an 8-win team, he plays after the bye, right? I just don't see a scenario where Mendoza sits this whole year, unless that scenario is us being 3 games ahead of 500, right? We might come out and win those first 3 games, or we might come out and win the first 4 games. You never know. You never know how the season's going to start. So, you could come out hot, and if we come out winning like that with Kirk Cousins, there could be a scenario where he plays the entire season. I just don't see that being the case. I think Fernando Mendoza gets in a game. I just don't know where. But if I had to guess, I think Kirk Cousins starts off, pretty decent. But that October month, I think just is too much for Kirk Cousins to handle and the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think like I said, by the end of October, November, that Jets game would be a perfect time to start Mendoza. That's what I got. Appreciate everybody pulling up in the building. I love every one of y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a great day. Stay blessed. And we are going to rock this video on the way out. This is the new intro video. Appreciate y'all. Much love as always. Peace. Raiders.
The rebellion.
What y'all think about the video?
Raiders Unleashed on the screen. Hit that subscribe. It's the RaidersRebel in the building. Silver and black. 2026. Yeah. Welcome to the desert. You know what time it is. Let's go! Left the bay for the lights, now we lighting up the strip. A legion in the desert, yeah, we built a mothership. No more dirt on the diamond, no more Coliseum rain. Just a blacked out dome where we deal out the pain. We're the villains of the league, always been the outcast. Built on Al Davis Ghost and we're built to outlast. The torch is still burning, it's a lifestyle, a creed. In the city of sin, we're the only ones you need. Silver and black is back, check the throne. The Raiders got a new home in the dome. The nation is rising, we're coming for everyone. Forget the other 31, we're the only ones. Yeah, we're unleashed. Rebel with the vision, Raider nation worldwide. Making that precision, one mission, one pride. Until the game is won, fuck the other 31. We're second to none. Check the box office, yeah, the leadership is changing. Tom Brady in the office, things are rearranging. The GOAT is a minority owner, that's a fact. Bringing that winning DNA, no turning back. From the field to the booth, now he's part of the shield. Watching from the suite while we're dominant on the field. The rebels on the mic, Raiders Unleashed on the tube. Giving you the raw truth, we don't move like a rube. I'm a rebel with a cause, and the cause is the win. Blacking out the sun, let the nightmare begin. Chiefs, boats, and the ponies, they can scratch on the eye. We're the heartbeat of Vegas under that desert sky. Turn the volume up high, let the channel go live. In the Raider Nation, only the strongest survive. Silver and black is back, check the throne. The Raiders got a new home in the dome. The nation is rising, we're coming for everyone. Forget the other 31, we're the only ones. Yeah, we're unleashed, rebel with the vision. Raider Nation worldwide, making that precision. One mission, one pride, until the game is won. Fuck the other 31, we're second to none. RAIDERS chant, they thought we'd go soft in the desert, they can't. We brought the autumn wind to the 702, the rebel and unleashed, coming straight for you. Raiders Unleashed, you know where to find us. RaidersRebel, keeping it 100. Vegas is ours, the dome is ours, the shield is forever.
Raiders Unleashed on the screen. Hit that subscribe. It's the RaidersRebel in the building. Silver and black.